That's right. Back at it again. Full custom hot dog, and we're doing a Blu-ray review of a movie that most people, well, maybe some people will be surprised to see me review this on my channel, but I review more than just weird horror stuff and, I don't know, genre, cult, horror, spooky things. I like all kinds of movies, I guess, but I'm also a big fan of Sonic, and no, not one of the weird ones. I have to specify that, because when you tell people that you're a fan of Sonic these days, they definitely draw their own conclusions. Oh, you're a weirdo furry. Number one, no, I'm not a furry. But I guess in full disclosure, I do want to mention that I am a big Sonic fan, so I could be biased in at least my review of the film, not my review of the Blu-ray itself, which is very good. I didn't become a Sonic fan until much later. Of course, I was familiar with him growing up. I'm in my mid-30s, so I definitely grew up with Sonic. But I wasn't the hugest fan until I was older. I got more into music production. Again, if you like my music, there's links in the description of every video. So I got much more into music production, things like that. And so I kind of definitely appreciated music a little bit differently. And Sonic has always had a good soundtrack, but it wasn't until Sonic got into the... Gosh, what era? I don't even think you call them bits anymore. The Dreamcast era, and even after that, is when, to me, the soundtracks got amazing. Sega in general is kind of notorious for, or the meme about Sega is that they put more money into their video game soundtracks than they do the game, which gets apparent sometimes given the quality, notoriety of some of these Sonic games. If you played Sonic 06, it's incredible hot garbage, but the soundtrack's good. A lot of the soundtracks are great. If you need a recent Sonic game to be recommended to you, I tell everyone to play Sonic Generations, which is frequently on Steam for $5 or something. I don't know. It's worth $20. It's worth, if I bought that game full price, it would have been absolutely worth it. I highly recommend it though, as it's the best of both worlds, Sonic 3D and 2D. But enough rambling about Sonic. Well, I guess not quite enough. But that's how I became a Sonic fan, was through the music, and then I just bought every game. And I bought every game to not just to play the game, because they're they're up and down in quality. Like I said, they're either good or garbage, oftentimes somewhere in between. But I always bought them like I was buying an album, because I was always excited to hear the soundtrack. And yeah, I could definitely download the soundtrack somewhere, or maybe stream it on Spotify. Sega's actually really good about putting those soundtracks on Spotify. So if you have Spotify and you miss listening to the Jet Set Radio soundtracks or the Sonic soundtracks, they're all up there. It's fantastic. Even the deeper cuts like Panzer Dragoon, I think Valkyria Profile, a lot of that stuff. But yeah, so I would pick up every game, racing titles included. Those can be pretty fun too, as just soundtracks that what I would play. And I do enjoy the games, but the soundtracks are 10/10. The soundtracks are amazing. They're very well done. Anyways, I can geek out about the soundtracks all day, but let's talk about this Blu-ray release for a film from 2020. On this disc, I picked up the Best Buy exclusive because it came with a comic. The comic's fine, nothing crazy. It really just goes over the events of the film, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping it might do some cute things after, or a cute little side story or something, but no, that's not there. It's a 4K release with a Blu-ray included, which is a cool little combo, and it was a slick steelbook. And I didn't watch the 4K. I don't have a 4K player yet, but I am slowly buying more and more things that include a 4K with the Blu-ray. So when you see this channel in the future someday, there will be a review of the 4Ks, I guess. I don't know. We'll see, right? But the disc is very well packed. This may be the best Blu-ray release I've ever seen for a major motion picture. The reason I say that is, one, I don't have it available because I use a program called Leowo for doing the Blu-ray screen caps I normally do. It doesn't always work, and sometimes when it does, it works very poorly. So if you have a recommendation for a screen capture Blu-ray player program for a PC, let me know. I also tried, I think it's like Max Blu-ray or something, Cyberlink Power DVD, and that won't take screen caps of your Blu-rays. It will, I guess, if you rip the movie first, but then I feel like that defeats the purpose. These movies get very big, and so that's a pain. Anyway, it has a great menu that, even though it's just the end credits of the film, the main menu is great. You've got, you've got a commentary track, which is pretty rare nowadays for these big releases. Sometimes those are iTunes exclusive. Sometimes they don't get released until a far off version or release of that film. So you've got that. That's with Jeff Fowler and Ben Schwartz, who does the voice of Sonic. Very good. They definitely get into the process at all. If you're not familiar with Ben Schwartz is very energetic and is obviously very, very good to play Sonic, but is also himself can be a bit too much for people, I feel. So your mileage may vary, but I think there's a lot of great insight there. I do like him though. You've got deleted scenes and bloopers, which is great. The deleted scenes are awkward. I should have taken a screen cap of that, but Liewo made it a very difficult thing for me to get anything. But there are some awkward things there where you have this very unfinished or unrendered model of Sonic, and he's got very long extremities. It's very weird. Sonic's Next Adventure. So a couple different vignettes, some things with Jim Carrey about playing Robotnik. It's just very packed with features. And again, very surprising for a major studio to release such a packed disc. I'm almost wondering if it's because this movie did so well that they wanted to pack the disc. And I don't buy a lot of huge releases. I picked up Alita, and that was okay. I don't believe there was any commentary there, which was a disappointment. It had a few vignettes and features, but nothing crazy. Nothing like this. Again, I haven't seen anything this good, maybe since the DVD days of collecting it. I remember back in the day, DVDs used to have great menus, would be packed with everything, but it's pretty rare nowadays. So it's an A++. Maybe one of the first big studio releases that has such a great release, a great physical release. It's great. So if you're into that alone, if you like the movie and you're wondering about getting the physical release, I can absolutely recommend it. It's fantastic. Let's talk about the film a little bit. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2020, directed by Jeff Fowler. Jeff Fowler is a person who, this is technically his first directorial debut in a feature-length film. Most of his background is in animation. For some reason, IMDb has him only credited as working on Where the Wild Things Are, but I believe he worked on a few more things than that, from what it sounded like in the commentary. So that seems a little weird, but it's interesting because Sonic's obviously a CG character, and it seems to blend what he knows in directing or in working with animated pictures. He also directed a short, and I think his background in animation really works well here for a couple reasons. Obviously, working with CG models, knowing what's going to translate very well to the screen, but I think also when it comes to making a family film, because obviously Sonic's going to be a family film, right? I think those films kind of have to be very direct in their purpose. They have to be very to the point. They can't be convoluted, and they can't have too many details. They have to be digestible and enjoyable and entertaining. They have to be very direct. And I think that comes in, it works very, I'm stumbling over my words here, but it's very important for this film to be that, because the Sonic lore is ridiculous. If you're not a big Sonic fan and you've only dabbled, even the basic Sonic 1 through 3 lore, right? You've got Chaos Emeralds, you've got all these different zones, you've got Knuckles, you've got Tails, and then you get into Sonic Adventure stuff and you're adding more characters, more lore, Shadow the Hedgehog, guns, space aids, all kinds of crazy stuff that comes into play. Robotnik, 2 different names. There's a ton of stuff that could have easily overwhelmed, I feel like, a lot of people. I feel like any other director would have done 7 Chaos Emeralds. They probably would have put Shadow in here. You probably would have had at least 3 or 4 more characters. And I think having Jeff's background may have played a role in him showing some restraint. Though there is the script, of course, that was written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller. I'm not too familiar with the things they've done, but they are working on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is great. It's easy for something like this with so much lore behind it, even though it's nothing crazy, it's easy to overwhelm it, and I think that would not translate very well to the film. They kept it very dialed in, so you're not going to get Chaos Emeralds. I guess to break down the plot, right, which is something we do here, is Sonic comes from another dimension. He's got these rings that take him to another dimension. He basically sets off an EMP blast, which gets the attention of the government, and they send in Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey. Sonic has to go find his rings with James Marsden. They go on a little road trip, and it's sweet, and it's adorable, and most importantly, it's funny. It's genuinely funny. I caught myself laughing even the second or third time through, and I say third time because I watched it, of course, with the commentary, because I wanted to make sure that was a good commentary. But very, very surprising. This film is much better than it has any right to be. I know a lot of people who went because they did a redesign of Sonic. If you're not familiar, the original trailer launched with this very scary version of Sonic, and that may be traced to someone at Paramount who wanted these realistic looking things, but they ended up redesigning him. So I know a lot of people actually went to see this movie just because of the redesigns that they did to Sonic, just to kind of show support that, hey, you guys changed it, you listened to fans, here we go. And they kind of came out with a lot more than they were expecting. So if you are a Sonic fan, you're going to get a lot of fun Easter eggs that warrants multiple rewatches. If you're not a Sonic fan, then I think you'll actually enjoy this film, especially if you watch it with family. They'll have a total blast. It's great. One of my favorite things about this movie isn't even in the movie. At the very beginning of the film, there's a Sega, basically a Sega Cinematic Universe logo, which would be interesting to see what else Sega would opt. I would love if Sega would give a smaller company like $1 million and have them make a Streets of Rage movie. Just go straight grindhouse with it. Would it happen? Doubt it, but it'd be rad, and I think it could be done, and it could be done very well. So I did mention that Sonic goes on an adventure with James Marsden, who's used to kind of playing these roles. I think just before this, he did that movie Hop, which has near identical scenes in it in terms of him driving a truck, I think, with a CG character. But it also made him a veteran, and he works very well with Sonic. And he works very well with Jim Carrey, who is 10/10 as Robotnik. If you still don't want to see this movie and you just need a reason to, at least watch it to see Jim Carrey as Robotnik, because that should remind you of the Jim Carrey that we used to have in film. We used to have this crazy Jim Carrey that was The Mask, Ace Ventura, and this is very much a callback to that Jim Carrey, and it felt nice. It felt great to have him back, but I feel like he liked it too. So he just plays Robotnik very over the top, very full of himself. And even though this game isn't 100% true to the game, Sonic has this weird Kaioken thing. That's some DBZ lore, I guess, where he kind of powers up, and it's not supersonic, and that's not in the games. Not really, anyway. It's not 100% to the game, but I think that's fine. You always have to give the movie adaptation some leeway. I think it works here in its benefit, really, to be honest with you. I definitely did enjoy this movie. It's fun, and I think you'll be surprised. I think everyone will be surprised. So anyways, enough rambling about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm definitely excited for number 2. There's a couple great Easter eggs towards the end, some post-credit scenes that you might like, and great Blu-ray release. So thank everyone involved with this movie. Thank you for making a solid Sonic movie. And nobody was expecting this to be halfway decent, so I'm eagerly waiting for part 2. And thanks to whoever put this Blu-ray together. You guys did great. Absolute great job here. I couldn't ask for anything more as a fan. So anyways, Full Custom Hot Dog. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O, because that is just too long for Twitter. And let me know what you think of this movie. Let me know if you're a fan of Sonic. If you're not a fan, you'll let me know anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time.